Welcome everybody to Simplified, where we take down very complex technology and break it down into simple words for both you and I to understand. And this time around, it's technology that's defined by three simple alphabets: a C, a V, and a T. And we've got the perfect car to demonstrate it all. It's of course the Honda City. Now the CVT technology in general is not really something that's brand new. In fact, the first ever recorded CVT gearbox or CVT transmission was well over a century ago. What do we really mean when we say CVT? Well, that means continuously variable transmissions. Now let's explain. In a normal standard gearbox, you are physically restricted by the ratio of each gear. In a CVT gearbox, it isn't restricted. It can actually go through, well, limitless or infinite combinations of ratios, and that's why a CVT gearbox is also called a shiftless gearbox. What you have are a set of pulleys and cones attached to each pulley, and all of this is all interconnected by a chain belt. And the width of these pulleys keeps changing depending on how much throttle input you actually put in. Now with Honda's CVT tech in particular, it actually recognizes your driving patterns really well. So for example, if you are driving on a hilly winding road rather sportily, it will actually make sure that your engine revs hold a lot higher. Now it does give you a smoother ride when you really need it, but it also gives you a sportier ride because it decelerates mainly using engine braking. And of course you have a sort of balance through the corners, and you do get your engine's performance at its absolute peak when you need it. Now, unlike a traditional CVT gearbox, Honda gives you steps in the CVT gearbox, which makes you almost feel like you're driving a traditional automatic gearbox, and you can simulate shifting gears by using those paddle shifters that are mounted on your steering wheel. Now, how that basically works is that there are preset slots that the belt and pulley actually shift into, which simulates that gear shifting experience. And on the Honda CVT, you have 7 different slots. So it feels like you're almost driving a 7-speed automatic gearbox. And that means that you can be in the optimal gear at the optimal time for your best performance and of course better fuel economy. So then let's talk about those paddle shifters just a little bit. Now of course they all gained popularity back in the day when everybody saw them in race cars, and soon engineers saw the potential of these paddle shifters in street cars because they reduced the strain on the gearbox itself, and of course they were really quick. So a lot of the world's best and greatest supercars started to get these paddle shifters on their automatic transmission versions, and soon you saw them too in your Hondas. So how does a paddle shifter work? Well, it's very simple. You've got 2 flat levers behind your steering wheel. The one on the right uses an actuator to move the gear shifts upwards, and the one on the left uses an actuator to shift downwards. What they do is that they communicate with the ECU, which of course internally communicates with your transmission and all the electronics that control your transmission, and helps you get the exact gear when you really want it the most. Now in Honda, this combination of a CVT plus paddle shifters is very unique, and it really does make the driving experience of the Honda City a great one.